Been a very long time since I have done a live chat. I just realised I haven't put my microphone on, so I'm hoping that you can hear me well. But it's been a very long time since I have done a live chat. I've done lots of pre-recorded videos, and as you know, I really like to just talk to you guys. So I want this session to be where you can ask me whatever you want, just put some questions, talk to me, and I will try and answer you to the best of my ability. I am wearing another new tiara today. This is the tech tiara. I'm hoping you can see it above my hair. And I'm also wearing a replica royal family order with, of course, Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth. Now, we haven't had the new King Charles family order yet. I'm not entirely sure when that will be issued, but it will have to be created and made, and there will be a little miniature portrait just like this of the new king. So right, the main story of the day, I'll just wait until a few people are dropping in. I think we have a few people watching now. I will repeat this news throughout this chat just so people are updated. It hasn't been updated on the main royal family social medias yet at this moment. It will be, but statements have been released to the British media saying that the King and Queen Consort's state visit to France has been postponed. So a few hours ago there was talk that it might be postponed because of all the troubles that are going on, all the riots. I mean, you may have seen all the different things going on. Thank you so much to Denise, who has donated £1.49. Thank you so much. I will buy myself a coffee, thank you. But there has been a statement released by the French, and there is a French translation and there is a British translation. So I will read you now the British translation of the French press release. So, given yesterday's announcement of a new National Day of Action against pension reform next Tuesday, March the 28th in France, the visit of King Charles III, initially planned from March the 26th to 29th in our country, will be postponed. The decision was taken by the French and British governments after a telephone call between the President of the Republic and the King this morning, in order to be able to welcome His Majesty King Charles III under conditions which correspond to our relationship of friendship. This state visit will be rescheduled as soon as possible. So there we have it. This new, highly anticipated visit will be rescheduled, and it was a state visit. It would have been King Charles's and Queen Camilla's official first state visit. So it was going to be a big set piece event. Initially, I thought that perhaps for the first overseas visit, it may be to a Commonwealth country. But no, we've gone to one of our closest neighbours. And, you know, France and Great Britain and the United Kingdom have had a history throughout our shared history. It's been up and down. So I think trying to cement good relations would have been a priority of the British government, using the monarchy as a soft power to do so for the occasion, of course, of having a new sovereign. So that's important to note. Also, they've recognised the poor conditions that are going on in France at the moment with relation to all of those riots and protests. I would say riots because I've seen flames, and as soon as you see flames, that means it's turned into a bit of a riot. Anyway, they've postponed it. Both governments have agreed, and a telephone call between President Macron and King Charles this morning. Oh, we have a new household member, Denise. Hello. By the way, I was going to mention as well, I will be doing a few more live chats for channel members. I think, you know, this is a thing people are doing on YouTube, so I will be doing more frequent live chats just like this for channel members. So if you're not, then do please check that out. Right, I'm going to read some comments and questions. Julia says, so many beautiful royal jewellery to buy. I had no idea you could, so I'm deciding what to get. It's hard. There are so many, and I will show you this tiara because it's gorgeous. This is the tech tiara. Just look at that beautiful design. I wish it was the real one. If it was the real one, I wouldn't be sat here now. This is gorgeous. I mean, just look at it. Right, I did forget to put my microphone on, so I'll do that now, just so you can hear me a little bit better. So do please keep the comments coming. Sheila says, says hello. I need my tea in a minute. Says hello from the USA. Let's just plug in the microphone. Hang on just a second. There we go. Okay, please tell me if you can hear me. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. There we go. Thank you very much for waiting so patiently. Jeremy the King, it's 8:57 p.m. for you. By the way, I am getting new glasses, so I will be able to read better. My prescription has changed, so do forgive me if I'm struggling slightly. Oh, there we go. I can zoom in on it. There we go. People can hear. There we go. So like I say, if you do have any, it's not an oriental circlet per se, but I suppose it does have oriental elements to it. Let's hear you speak in French. Bonjour, bonjour. Is it possible to sound French with a gay accent? I think that's what I just did. Bonjour, 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 mademoiselle. Yes. Oh, Sterling is giving a deep Duchess curtsy. Yes, well, I can do a curtsy. You might not be able to see, but I can do one. Look, it's sort of, you go down. It's like, no, it's not the Meghan curtsy where you do that. That's not quite the curtsy. You know, you can sort of bob down like that. Although I did see Princess Anne give a very deep curtsy once in front of the world's media. There we go. Okay, so that's basically pretty much most of the news from today. If you've just tuned in, the French visit by King Charles and Queen Camilla has been cancelled. Will the king still go to Germany? Not sure. Not sure yet. I mean, unless they've got any problems and issues, I wouldn't imagine there's an issue. But the issues are in France, and it is relating to internal issues. So it's likely that any other travel that has been arranged will go ahead, unless there's a particular reason why it can't. Julie Smith says, well, did not see that coming, but they made a good. I kind of did see it coming because we've seen pictures back of, you know, flames and literally kind of rioting in the streets. And that doesn't really bode well for I think in a way, not just the king and queen consort's safety, but also I don't think the French want to give that impression as well. And although we can, you know, we can see all that footage coming back all over the world, I don't really think it's, you know, and also President Macron has got things to deal with instead of sort of hosting a state event. So I kind of did see it coming, but it was very last minute cancelled. I think maybe they thought that they could resolve things and get things fixed, but no. Thank you to Sylvia, who says, good morning. You have always been informative. Sterling says, shame what's happening in France, but it was best to cancel the state visit. I agree. I do agree. Okay. Do we have any questions? I literally just popped on to tell you this news rather than making a short, but I'm prepared to stay for a while. Do excuse me. Throat issues. Okay. Sterling says, Very let them eat cake for France to be up in flames, literally while the press and royal couple dine and wine. Well, they didn't dine and wine, so that kind of let them eat cake situation was most definitely averted. Yes, it's the Tech Crescent tiara today. It's a new tiara that I am debuting. I only ever wear royal replica jewellery. Um, Sue says, "Will Harry and Meghan attend the coronation?" Well, everyone knows that they haven't said. I mean, this is the crux of it. Harry and Meghan have been invited. We know that they've been invited. Buckingham Palace has said that they've been invited. Harry and Meghan have announced that they have been invited, but they have not publicly said whether they will or not attend. Now, we don't know whether or not they have said privately yet to the palace. But what we do know is that the last I heard was that preparations, plans have been put in place that if they do attend, but if they don't, those plans will just be dropped. So, I mean, I don't know. It's 6 weeks away. If Harry and Meghan know what their diary commitments are. They know whether or not they want to attend. They know that. So if they haven't told the royal family in private, um, then they need to really, because it's at that time where if you were invited to a wedding, you wouldn't leave it so close. If you'd been invited, you kind of get back the RSVP fairly quickly, so that the bride and groom can make the appropriate wedding plans and sort out numbers and tables and seating and all the rest of it. A coronation is really like a big wedding. I mean, that's kind of what it's like, a massive scale wedding. It's a huge preparation and planning. And I'm quite impressed that they've managed to get it done in the time that they have, because previous coronations have taken longer to organise, although this one is scaled back. So if they haven't given a reply, I think they need to, one way or the other. But I have also heard that if they do attend, they won't be involved in any of the actual ceremony of it. They won't be on the balcony. They probably won't be seated at the front, and they probably won't be in robes or any kind of state dress. I've heard that they will have to provide their own. Now, I'm not quite sure how true that is, because as a duke, this is nothing to do with being an HRH. It's nothing to do with being royal. It's nothing to do with being a member of the royal family. Harry is still a duke. That is a member of the British aristocracy. As a member of the British aristocracy, in the late Queen's coronation, every member of the aristocracy has a right to wear their appropriate robes. If they're entitled to like a ducal coronet or an earl's coronet or a baron's coronet or something, they're entitled to wear those. I think at the late Queen's coronation, they had to pay for their own robes and coronets and all the rest of it. So a lot of the British aristocracy's robes and coronets will be probably have been kept in the attics of their grand stately homes for the past 70 years. So a little bit dusty and crusty. So maybe new robes will have to be made. But then again, we don't know whether or not King Charles has scaled back the dress code. There was talk of a scaled back dress code for Charles. So will members of the aristocracy be required to wear their robes? But Harry, as a duke of the United Kingdom, never mind being a prince, never mind being the son of King Charles, is entitled to wear robes, coronation robes, and Meghan would be, entitled to wear the counterpart spousal robes. So we don't know. We also don't know. I mean, would Meghan wear a tiara? Does she have one? I mean, I wouldn't have thought that the tiara that she borrowed for her wedding probably would have been on long-term loan. But since stepping back, I imagine that will have been handed back. So it is a tiara occasion. Most of the aristocracy, the nobility, the royals probably will be breaking out a bit of bling. They'll be showing their tiaras. So for Meghan, if she wanted to wear a tiara, she'd probably have to either rent one, have been gifted one, or she'd have to buy one herself. And they aren't cheap. Tiaras aren't cheap, my loves. Hello to everyone who is joining. How many people do we have live? Oh, we have 99 people. Hello to all of you. Am I planning to attend? No, I want to watch it on TV because you'll get the best camera angles. I think if you go physically to the coronation, you will most definitely get the atmosphere of the day. But because of the amount of people that will be there and all the barriers that will be up, you'll be camping out in the streets probably a day before, at least, to get a good spot along the processional route. Then you'll really only see kind of one view of maybe a carriage going by or the procession. Once you're in one spot, it'll be very hard to move to another location. So I kind of think that you will get a better view of everything if you watch it on TV. So I'm going to watch it on TV. But the atmosphere down there would be absolutely amazing. Miliana says, I would be surprised if anyone talks to Harry and Meghan if they attend. Well, I mean, I have heard that perhaps, the royal family could be quite frosty towards Harry and Meghan. After all, the majority of the family probably will not have agreed with Harry doing his book. By the way, there is I heard that there's like a mock version of his book, a parody version of it. Um, so yeah, that should be quite funny. Christine says, can't wait for the coronation, but exhausted by the will they, won't they drama. It's already not overshadowing, because the day most definitely will be about King Charles, but it's not good form. Going back to the kind of wedding comparison, you never. It's an unwritten rule, isn't it? You don't try to show up or outdo the bride, and in this instance, Charles is the bride. He's the one, it's his day. It's his and Camilla's day. So, and then there was also this thing about, perhaps seating them further down so that they don't have to bow or curtsy to Camilla. I mean, it's all nonsense. She is the queen, whether you like her or not, you know, bow and curtsy. Angela says, could you please put up a link for the royal replica jewellery? Some of them are not for sale anymore. Some of the brooches um, that I wear, I actually got from the official royal Buckingham Palace website years ago. They don't sell a lot of them. I don't know why, but they stopped doing them. The flower basket brooch that I wore, they still do, but they do it in the incorrect colors. They do a pastel version, which is not the version that I've got. When I bought mine, they had both versions and they got rid of the replica version and they've just got the pastel version now. They also don't do the bow brooch. I mean, it's a shame they don't do the wattle brooch. It really is a shame. The necklace that I bought with all those pearl strands, I found that on eBay. I mean, a lot of it when you're searching for royal jewelry is just typing in and seeing what's available at the time. And what I've learned is if you see something and it's expensive, don't hesitate, just get it because at one time they were making a replica Princess Diana choker, the 7 strands with the big blue sapphire in the middle. That was readily available on the Historic Royal Palace's website shop, and I passed up on it because it was a little bit pricey, and I wish I'd just got it. Now they've discontinued it, and I can't find it anywhere. Well, I can't find a good replica anywhere. So, yeah, my tip is if you see it, just get it. Even if it's expensive, you will regret it later if you don't. Julia says the awkward relationship between Harry. Ooh, I've just skipped. The awkward relationship between Harry and the rest of the family can't be hidden now. It's going to be probably best to view this on the telly. I want to see expressions. The cameras will be panning, of course they will. I think there'll be limits on how much they show of the royal children, the Wales children. But mostly the focus will obviously be on Charles and Camilla. Prince William, the Prince of Wales, will have a role. He's expected to be the only one that swears allegiance, that bows and sort of kisses his father on the right cheek, I do believe, and also kisses the crown. Normally, that would be all of the royal dukes, but that apparently has been scaled back. But we will have to wait and see because we don't know. Thank you, Melon. Janet says, I have heard they will be allowed no special clothing or headgear. Well, this is what I mean. It's not whether or not they're allowed it, because if you disallowed Harry and Meghan from wearing what they are entitled to as members of the aristocracy, you'd also have to exclude the rest of the aristocracy. So I don't know which way they've gone with the organising. Have they sort of banned the fancy robes and coronets and tiaras for everyone that's entitled to wear them, or have they just done it for Harry and Meghan? I don't think they'll just do that for Harry and Meghan. I think it would look petty, if I'm honest. I think they'd have to do it for everyone. And of course, we've seen examples of doing it for everyone previously in terms of, for example, the balcony appearance is only for working royals. So obviously that's not to offend anyone that's a non-working royal, but it does also keep certain people off the balcony, such as Andrew, Harry, and Meghan. So I don't think it's in the style of King Charles to specifically ban Harry and Meghan from something that they would otherwise be entitled to as a member of the aristocracy. Does that make sense? Um, Prisha Charles says, why so much hate on Harry and Meghan? They might have replied in private. Well, that's what I said. They may have done, but we don't know about that. So as to avoid all that talk. Well, the problem is, without publicly announcing that they're attending, you're going to get all the speculation that are they, won't they, will they, won't they, whatever. So I think the palace put out the statement that they'd been invited to try and get a response. I believe, although we don't know for sure, I believe personally that Harry and Meghan have left the palace hanging, and they're probably still hanging, if it's to be believed. Angela says, if she turns up in the Spencer tiara, I'll lose my mind. Well, the only way she would ever turn up in the Spencer tiara is if Charles Spencer, Harry's uncle, gives it to Meghan to wear on that occasion. That is the only way that would happen. Miliana says, I dare say she won't be able to borrow one from Camilla. No, I don't think she'll be borrowing any from the royal family. Sterling says, yeah, don't try to outdo the bridge, but Harry and Meghan have done that already when they announced their pregnancy at Princess Eugenie's wedding. Yes, they did, and it all turned up, didn't it? So it was true from the stories back then that Meghan and Harry did announce the pregnancy at Eugenie's wedding. And I remember at the time, because I reported on it, they were just about to go on a foreign tour, so they wouldn't have been able to have hid the pregnancy for much longer and kept it private. But I think they perhaps should have announced it to key people, maybe a couple of days prior to Eugenie's wedding, because apparently Sarah Ferguson was absolutely outraged, and she had had a reasonably good, although limited, relationship with Meghan up until that point. Although Harry and Meghan are still said to have good relations at the moment with Harry and Meghan, and have done pretty much all the way through. Right. I'm just going to scan down to the bottom. Kitschy says, "Who wants to go somewhere when you're not liked or wanted?" Well, I mean, Harry. I mean, if Harry's visa doesn't get extended or put onto the spousal box, I think you have to go from. It was a bit tricky to try and decipher how the visa thing works, especially in relation to Harry being married to a United States citizen. So I think I've got it. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there is a 3-year first part of the visa, which is expected to be up for Harry. So that's the bit that potentially he didn't disclose his substance misuse fully on. Then, after 3 years, you can apply to get a spousal visa or something done, and it's got different names to it. So I think that's where Harry's at. He's done the 3 years of the initial, and he's lived in the country for 3 years, and now it's you do the next bit. But could Harry be thrown out of the country because of any mistakes he made or non disclosures on the first part? Have I got this right? I think I've got it right. So there's been a freedom of information request put in, and they want to see what he put, basically. Lawyers want to know, didn't he disclose? Is there anything that potentially he could be sent back to the UK, deported for? And we don't know at the moment. We are waiting to see what all comes of it. Was he given special preferential treatment because of who he is? I don't know. Shay says, "Do you think the royal family should apologise on behalf of the staff for the leaks briefing that happened while they were working in Royals? That was a reason for them leaving." Well, it wasn't the entire reason. I think I think there were other factors as well, but it was definitely a main contributing factor. I've always said from the outset of all the leaks and briefings that I personally don't feel that that was right to do. I don't think any royal family staff member should be pitting royal against royal. I feel personally that is wrong. Um, do I think they should apologise? I think they should. I think to move forward, and I've said this before as well. I think both parties, the Charles and William and the royal family and Harry and Meghan, are not going to see eye to eye on this. I think they are forever going to think that they are the right, that they are in the right. Um, I think what's better is to draw a line in the sand, agree to disagree, and move forward with meaning and purpose and forgiveness. I think any forgiveness should be done privately. I don't think we need statements or press releases. I think that would just um, make each party more suspicious of each other and the intentions. I think for this to be authentic, it needs to be done in private. So I think they should draw a line. I think they should agree to disagree, and as part of that agreement, so to speak, I think they should both agree that from the palace side, no more leaks and briefings. And I think that from Harry and Meghan's side, they should agree no more trying to make money, do business deals off the back of being a royal, like, for example, the Spare book or, any, or the Netflix or anything where they are talking about royal life or royal experiences. And I think that is the way to get the trust back because at the moment there is no trust on both sides. Both sides don't trust each other, um, you know, as bad as each other, to be honest. So I think draw a line, lay down some ground rules that both can agree to. Any forgivenesses, any apologies need to be done in private and then move on with purpose. Right, let me just scroll down. We have a bow here, by the way. Patty says, I don't think they should apologise. Of course, you can disagree with this, but Harry and Meghan owe the royal family a huge apology. There's going to be factors, and there's always going to be factions, I think. When I first started this channel doing Royal Reviewer back in 2015, there wasn't any faction. The whole sort of, royal watching sphere was very united. Then when Harry and Meghan got married and things started to turn sour, factions formed, and people want you to be one way or the other. And a lot of people are probably a bit skeptical of anyone that's sort of in the middle, in that kind of middle sphere. Um, And I've come to terms with the fact that personally, I'm somewhere in the middle. I like to look at things objectively. I like to look at things from both sides. And as far as I'm concerned, people can watch what I've got to say or not. I'm at that kind of point where I say what I want to say. I say what I think and what I feel. What I say and what I think and feel is authentic. It's genuine. I don't have any hidden agendas. I just say what I see, what I find. That is true royal watching. True royal watching should not come with having an agenda. And I think that there are so many people out there on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube that have an agenda. And for me, that's not what I'm into. That's not what I want to put out. It's not what I do put out. So, I will call a spade a spade. Where there is wrongdoing, I will call it out. And I just think that there isn't. I've got a cat right behind me, so I can't sit back. I just think that they aren't going to agree, so they need to draw a line in the sand and move on if they want to have a relationship with each other. I'm sure Harry does want to have a relationship with his father and family. I'm sure Charles does want to have a relationship with his younger son's family. So just everyone needs to be grown up about it and move on. And it's not defeatist to just say, right, look, we aren't going to agree on this. You think one thing, I think another. We're going to forever, think that, but how can we move forward with meaning and purpose? Miliana says, so true. I much appreciate the fact that you are fair. Thank you. And sometimes I'm going to say favourable or non-favourable things about your favourite royals. So it's not an easy job, sort of sat here trying to put out what's exactly happening. But I'm not going to kiss up to anyone. I'm not going to blow wind up someone's kilt, smoke up someone's kilt to to fan them. I'm not a royal fan, I'm a royal watcher, and there is a big difference. Royals are not celebrities. Um, right, Laura says, I love watching your videos on the royal family because you keep us updated on all of this. Thank you. Helena says, well done. You are always honest and objective, and I love it. Thank you so much. We have 165 people watching, so hello to all of you. If you're, I should remember to be a good YouTuber and remind you all to subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. If you haven't hit the notification bell, please do that because whenever I do a live pop-up chat, um, you should hopefully get notifications. Okay, so I think I am going to leave that here for now. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and of course, do hit the bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me, to you all, and goodbye.